Hi yogis and welcome back. I'm Nicole. Thank you for joining me once again on the mat. Today I'm going to be doing a lot of twisting for the amazing Fatima who requested a twist video. Twisting's awesome. It's said to be really detoxifying. We'll talk more about that later. And it's also a great way to open up the back. And as we start to loosen up those muscles in the back, we can't help but contract the muscles in the front of our core. So it's a little bit of sneaky ab work too. All that being said, let's get started on our backs. So we can get started with some simple twists, but that's to come. For right now, we're either coming to Savasana, rolling wrists and ankles open. If you wanted to start in a Supta Baddha Konasana or your reclined bound angle, you could. But if you try it out and say, no, just a little too much in the hips to get started with, come lying flat. Wrists and ankles roll open. Muscles and face soften. So start to scan through the body. I love starting reclined because it's a great way to figure out where you might be gripping, where you may have trouble softening. So scan and relax. Once you have the body in a good place, start bringing the focus to your inhales and your exhales. You could count the breaths. You inhale for, say, a count of 4, and exhale for a count of 4. You might try and move to a 5 the next time around. Other yogis will inhale for a count of 4 or 5 and exhale for 2 counts more, so like a 6 or a 7. There's a way to count the breath. Maybe you prefer to visualize inhales and exhales, whatever puts the focus on the breath and clears out all of your thoughts. So maybe you are using the space you've created in your mind to set an intention, to find one focus point, like a word, a phrase, or even a sound for your practice. Maybe you say, no, I'm going to stick with focusing on my breath. Whatever works best for you. Inhale, fill up. Audible sigh out. And then inhale your knees into your chest. And exhale a back opening squeeze. I'm going to get a little rock going. And I like to pretend like I'm making circles on the ceilings with my knees. That's my favorite way to massage my low back. And then once you have a little bit of momentum, you're going to rock your knees to the right, leaving left knee on top of right. I'll recommend that you reach your fingers and keep both shoulders on the mat. Now you could face the ceiling, or you could take a look over towards your left fingers, but only if it feels good in the neck. If it's too intense, face ceiling. Feel that nice big opening in your back. Inhale your head center. Draw your knees to your chest. And get a little squeeze and rock going. And exhale your knees to the left. Right knee dropped on top, maybe the reach of the fingers. Right shoulder relaxed to the mat, looking up at the ceiling or off to the right. Always using these first few moments of practice to really connect with breath or intention that was set. Bring your head center. Draw knees to chest. Squeeze, hug. Little massaging rocks. And we're going side to side. And I say that for a reason. Let's switch it up. Let's start rocking lengthwise, massaging out the length of your spine, gaining a little momentum, and your strong core brings you right into boat or navasana. Ooh, how does that feel? Give the ankles across and come into your easy seat. Find some length in the spine. Drop your right ear off to your right shoulder. Take chin across chest, just a couple neck rolls. And take a few halves. And then we'll come up to full. If full doesn't feel good for you, you can always stick with half circles. Though if you are taking those full circles, reverse the direction. And then inhale your head up tall, find some length. And from here, we're going to take a little tip to our hands and knees coming into our table. Really mindful to set up safe wrists, so you're really spreading through your hands, pressing through thumb and index, but the pads of all of your fingers. That takes pressure out of the wrists. Elbows have a hint of softness. We never want to be locking. We'll inhale our chest, our hips, our cow. We'll exhale our back for our cat. Ask your right on here. For the cats and cows, you're going to do them with me, buddy. So inhale's lifting. Exhale's arcing. So we inhale, look up, we're compressing our spine and opening our core. And when we exhale, arc, we're putting lots of space between our vertebrae. These are two ways to move your spine. But we're going to be concentrating on the twisting. Right now, we're just warming up, connecting our breath to movement. So let's take one more round. Exhale, lift. Inhale, look up. Feel the core muscles stretch. And exhale to neutral. So what I'm going to do now is bump my right hip to the right. I'm going to look back at it. Horse biting tail. I'm putting a lot of space in my side body. Little side body flexion. One more way to open up the spine, to stretch the spine. Inhale, center. Left hip over. Take a little look back at it. Side body flexion in the right. So just now in our cat-cow and our horse biting tail, we've tried some other spine movements before we start heading back into our twists. Bring it center. Alright, one round of cat and cow just for good measure to rinse out the spine. Head to neutral, fingers spread. Give the toes a curl under, lift your seat and find your first downward facing dog. Really press through your thumb and index and play with pedaling your heels to the mat. And use the space to just sort of focus on your breathing. Alright, another twist. This one's going to challenge your balance. So if you wanted to walk your toes in and shorten up your down dog, by all means. You're going to take your right hand and you're going to find the outside of your left leg. So I go for the ankle. But if stability is an issue, you can come up higher on the leg. But like I said, walk that down dog in. And we're going to peek underneath our left shoulder. How does that feel on the back? Nice and open? Do you feel a little wobble? Really focus on your balance. And then take your right hand down. Ground through thumb and index. Left hand finds outside of right. A little peek underneath your right armpit. Feel the stretch in the back. Left hand returns to mat. So I naturally kind of shorten up my down dog. I'm going to pull into a high plank, pull into one with me. Walk the hands, the feet out. Elbows are soft. Inhale, seat up. And exhale, high plank. Now no adjustments. Let's inhale back up. Exhale, high plank. Inhale, fill. And exhale, come all the way down to the belly. Tops of feet press in. Inhale up, a little baby cobra. Draw your elbows in, barely using any hands. Give the toes a curl. Lift the seat. Downward facing. A couple petals. And then we'll exhale, come to the top of our mat. Inhale, come up just halfway. Reach the ears out of the shoulders. Exhale, a dive. Forward fold. Take a little sway. Maybe grab your elbows and sway. Shake out your head, release your neck. If you wanted to add just a little micro twist, you could bring your hands down and walk them off to the right. How does that feel? Walk them through center and off to the left. Make sure your knees are nice and soft. We haven't done a whole bunch to warm up the legs. Come center. Slow roll. Up to standing, one vertebra clicking into place at a time. Head comes up last. Tadasana, or mountain pose. Shrug your shoulders into place. So you can inhale, lift up your chest, ground through your feet, open palms, soft knees. Let's take a flow and continue warming up. Inhale, brings hands overhead. Exhale, hinge at your waistline. Inhale, come up halfway. High plank. You have options. Are you going to lower to the belly? Or do you want to come halfway for chaturanga? Inhale, up dog or cobra. And meet in downward facing. Inhale, fill. Exhale to the top. Inhale, up half. Take a dive. And we're gonna inhale our hands up, our seat back, and we're gonna land in chair. Shoulders are soft. When I say that, we're not pulling our arms down, shortening our sides. We're just taking the tension out of the tops of our shoulders. Weights in the heels, chest is lifted. I want you to take left forward, right fingers back. One of my favorite twists. My core is engaged. I'm going to turn so you can see this from all angles, and I'm looking back at my right fingertips. Don't let your left knee peek in front of your right. Take a look down, make sure they're lined up. Core is engaged, back's open. Inhale, right hand forward. Exhale, left back. So twists are thought to be detoxifying because when we twist, we sort of contract all of our internal organs. If you can imagine wringing them out. And then when we inhale forward, we allow them to open up, flood with blood, and sort of cleanse. So inhale, fill. Exhale, dive. Inhale, half lift. High plank. Back you go. Lower through your variation of the flow, all or half. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Downward facing. Really press through thumb and index. A couple more pedals. You can never take enough pedals, right? Inhale your right toes up. Exhale, tap right knee off to right elbow. Inhale back. Exhale, a tap to the nose. Inhale back. Exhale, a tap to the left. Hold. Inhale back. Exhale, step your foot between your hands. Stack knee on top of ankle. Leave your left heel as is. Hands come up. Crescent lunge. Again, don't scrunch up those shoulders into your ears. Let them fall away. Knees stacked. So what I'm going to do here, left hand forward, right fingers back. Just like that chair pose twist, except with more of a balanced challenge. Core is engaged. A look back at right fingers to open the neck. Inhale, right fingers forward. Exhale, left back. And put left foot into warrior two position. Press through pinky edge. Gaze over front right fingers. Right knee stacked on ankle. Opening up just a bit so you can see your right big toe. That's how you get a nice hip opener here. Flip your right palm. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Big inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Big inhale. Exhale, extended side angle. Right elbow on top of right knee, left hand reaching. You can always bring elbow inside of knee, or even drop the fingers inside of your right ankle. We're waking up our psoas here. It's this muscle deep inside, and that'll help us open our hips later. Are you ready for a really big twist? Left hand's gonna come down inside of your right foot. Right hand's gonna come up. We're revolving this extended side angle. One of my favorite twists. Inhale, big fill. Exhale, unwind, spiral open, warrior two. Flip, exhale, reverse or peaceful. Inhale, fill. Exhale, warrior two. Cartwheel frame. Pick up your left heel. Spin your left toes to the front. Low lunge. One more twist. Left hand down. Inhale, right hand up. Stack wrist on top of shoulders. And then drop your right hand to your low back. We're adding just a little half bind here. It deepens our twist and it opens the front of our right shoulder. Right hand comes down, frame the foot, step right foot back, land in high plank. Lower flow. Inhale, up dog or cobra. Downward facing. Pedaling. Ready? Inhale, left toes up. Exhale, tap knee to left elbow. Inhale, back. Exhale, tap knee, nose. Inhale, back. Exhale, tap to the right. Little baby twist here. Inhale, back. Step your left foot between your hands. Keep your right heel lifted. Come up high crescent. All right. Knees stacked. Right hip flexor opening. Hands overhead, but not introducing tension into the tops of shoulders. Fill up. Right hand forward, left hand back. That big open twist with balance challenge. Inhale, left forward, like you're stringing a bow, pull right hand back. Pressing through pinky edge of your right foot. Knees stacked up top of ankle. Remember you're opening just a little to the left so you can open up hips. Gaze is over the front left fingers. Flip, exhale, reverse, or peaceful warrior. Now you see I naturally bring my right hand to my low back because I love the half bind, but if you prefer right hand down, right leg, by all means. Big inhale. Exhale, warrior two. Big inhale. Left elbow, left knee, right hand overhead. Don't dump weight into your left elbow. Use your strong side body. Ready for the big twist? Inhale, fill. Exhale, right hand down inside of left. Left comes up. You can see how it looks from this side now. It's a pretty big twist. Inhale, fill. Exhale, unwind, spiral up. Big inhale. Flip left. Exhale, reverse. Inhale, fill. Exhale, warrior two. Cartwheel, frame. Pick up, ready, heel. Stay on the ball, low lunge. Right hand down, spread through fingers, always taking pressure out of the wrist. Inhale, left up. And for the half bind. See how my left shoulder's nice and open? I hope you feel it in the front of your left shoulder. Left hand comes down. Frame the foot. This is it, our final flow. Step your left foot back. Hot plank. Take a little look ahead. Lower. Inhale your back bend. Down dog. A couple pedals. Take your knees to the mat. Come onto your seat. Take your legs out in front. Right leg's gonna come long. Left foot's gonna tuck against your right. We're gonna slow things down just a little bit. Give ourselves a tiny little break. We're going to hinge over our right leg like we're trying to send our heart over our knee. I always give you the option. You could drop your right forearm inside of your right leg or on the outside. You could bring your left hand overhead. Sort of like we did in that side body opener. That extended side angle. This opens up the muscle responsible for most low back tightness. Inhale, come up. Here's the real reason I got you in this pose. You're going to bend right knee, and you're going to line up your knee with your hip, your ankle with your knee. I'm going to flip so you can see how this looks. Call it our deer pose. See how I'm making a right angle with my right leg? Alright. So now that you got your nice deer pose, and if your right knee comes a little higher, no worries. We're going to inhale our hands overhead. Take the right hand to our left knee and our left hand behind. We're going to inhale some length into our spine. And exhale, look over our shoulder. Really think about lifting on the inhale. Inhale, fill up. Exhale, unwind. Askers back. Take your right leg out. Put a bend in both of your knees and windshield wiper. Sorry, buddy. Alright. Left leg's out. We're going to make space for Oscar. Right foot's in. And I like to start by bringing my torso over my leg and just hinging my heart over my knee. First things first. I do that to warm up my low back and to get my leg used to this pose. And then once I'm good and warmed up, I prefer to drop my forearm in front, but everyone's different. I'm going to take the side body opener. Inhale, a little lift into my chest. And exhale to clear my thoughts. Inhale, come up. Put a bend in your left knee and get it in line with your left hip. Again, if the knee comes up a little higher to accommodate for sticky hips, don't worry about it. And I'm going to try and line my ankle with the knee the best I can. Inhale, floats the hands up. Left hand comes to right knee, right hand comes behind. Inhale, a little length into the spine. And exhale, look over your right shoulder to deepen the twist. Inhale, bring hands back overhead. Exhale them down. Take the left leg out. So you can plant both feet. Windshield wiper. And release. Alright. Since our knees are bent, why don't we go ahead, sit back. You're on a nice, good connection with the sit bones to the mat. We're going to inhale, lift into our chest. We're going to use core strength to come back to both. Sort of where we started things off. Maybe hands come up. No worries if they don't. Hands could also come behind the knees. Inhale, lift up your chest and engage your core. Tempting to use the hip flexors, don't do it. We came up into this series using a boat. We'll get back to our backs using a boat. Inhale, fill. Exhale, low boat, reach your toes, your chest back. I'm still using my core, maybe even more now than ever. Reach the hands, reach the toes. Lengthen the body. All right. Now we kind of slowed things down with our deer pose and our side bends. Let's do just a little bit more work in our legs and then we'll really wind things down. Bend your knees. Walk your heels towards your seat. We want them stacked under our knees. Palms are down on the mat. Exhale. Inhale, roll your hips up, bridge pose. You could press your palms to the mat. I actually like to interlace my fingers and come up high on my elbows. Inhaling, trying to lift your hips in line with your knees. We're pressing into our big toes. There's space between our thighs, but we want them parallel. You could imagine squeezing your knees together. Fill up. Release your hands if your fingers were interlaced and roll down. Allow your low back to release to the mat. Take your knees side to side. Plant the soles of your feet. We're going to go into a second bridge. So we're going to walk our heels in. You don't want an exaggerated walk. You do kind of want your heels stacked under your knees. We're going to take palms to the mat, fingers reaching towards the heels. Complete exhale. Inhale, roll your hips up. So opening up our low back, giving our knees a little bit of a squeeze together or pressing into the big toe. If you want, you could interlace your hands again, but I'm actually going to switch up my variation. I'm going to inhale my hands overhead. Backs of the hands to the mat. This is going to deepen the pose. Don't let your hips sag. Inhale them back up. I'm going to change it up one more time. Put my palms by my ears like I'm coming into a wheel, though I'm not. Just deepening the back bend. Inhale, fill. Exhale, roll your hips down and take your hands overhead at the same time. Little adjustments to find release in the low back. Let your knees fall side to side, windshield wipers. Plant your soles. Take your feet to the edges of your mat and let your knees fall together in the center. Now what I like to do is press into my big toes and really kind of bring my knees together. It's going to be a nice inner thigh release, and it's going to put tons of space in your low back. I'm going to take my right hand to my belly, my left over my heart. I'm just going to feel my breath rise and fall. Maybe you go back to counting. Maybe you return to intention. Hands back to the mat. Knees apart. Feet heel toe to center. Alright. Third and final back bend can absolutely be another wheel, or another bridge I should say, but because this video, I know Fatima is tuning in and she loves a good wheel. So if you want a wheel, maybe you want to try playing with wheel. You bring your palms by your ears, right? And you inhale, press everything but the palms and the bottoms of your feet off the mat. Now, you can try coming up to just the head. That's a nice little precursor. Just be extra mindful that you're not looking around and hurting your neck. If you give it a try and you say, no, thank you, not for me, another bridge is just fine. You can play with that wheel arm variation. Play with bringing your elbows in. If you're holding your wheel, just hanging out. Or bridge. Let's inhale, fill. And exhale, come on down. Ooh, big back bends. Start with the windshield wiper to release the back. Plant your soles. Take your knees to your chest. Exhale, open up low back with a squeeze and a rock. Plant your soles. Always got to include our pigeon poses. Class just wouldn't feel complete without them. Right ankle, left knee. Make your figure 4. Pull it towards you. Hands either behind the left thigh or on top of the left shin. Shoulders are soft. Face is soft. Eyes are heavy and we're focusing on breathing. So a couple options. If you're just not getting the hip opening you crave, you could give this figure 4 the smallest shift to the left. It's a nice way to deepen. Or you could even take the pinky edge of your foot and place it in your left elbow crease. Your right elbow crease would take your right knee, and you take your left leg long. See how I'm just cradling my lower right leg? You could rock and open up the hip this way. Draw your left knee back up. If you did come out of the reclined pigeon, come back to a reclined pigeon. We'll take one more big inhale together. And then we'll exhale and we'll set that whole figure 4 to the left. I like for my left leg to keep that right angle shape and my right foot to plant. I'm going to reach my fingers. Just like at the beginning, I'm going to look towards my right fingers. If that bothers your neck, please face the ceiling. Inhale brings your head center. Your figure 4 comes center, uncross. Plant both soles. And a windshield wiper for the hips. Feet plant. Left ankle, right knee. Figure 4. And we're going to start by just finding our reclined pigeon. We're playing with finding release in the shoulders and relaxation in the face. ease our left hip into this pose. It's a great place to just focus on breath or intention that was set. As your hip starts to open, if you're looking to go deeper, it's either giving this figure four, the smallest shift to the right, or cradling. Left pinky edge now in your right elbow crease, left knee and left elbow crease, right leg long. I always like to tell people, note the differences in the size of your body. This is my much stickier hip. I know that maybe I won't go quite as far into hip openers on this side, that I might have to make modifications, but it also makes me a lot more aware of my body. This cradling pose doesn't work quite as well on my left hip. Maybe you love it, but I'm going to come back to my reclined pigeon. If you're still cradling, start coming back to your reclined pigeon now. Take a big inhale, fill up, and exhale, set that whole figure four to the right. See how my right leg sort of keeps the shape and my left foot plants, my shoulders are on the mat. And I like to take that look away that really, if it bothers your neck at all, face ceiling. And just think about rinsing out the body, wringing out the body, letting go of anything that no longer serves you. Inhale your head center, bring your leg center, uncross. I'm going to plant both soles, come into some windshield wipers just as one final release. I'm going to inhale, draw my knees to my chest, exhale, squeeze and rock. Inhale, a big hug, smallest ball you could be. Exhale, Savasana. Remember at the beginning of our time together, we scanned our body for tension? Same thing. I hope this time it's a little easier to get comfortable. The whole point of our yoga practice is actually to release our bodies so we can find stillness in Savasana. So allow your body to feel completely supported by your mat. Feel comfortable turning everything off as you sink in, almost as though you're letting go of the body completely. Feel the face release. The breath is a steady rise and fall. Inhale, fill up, flooding your body with oxygen and sighing out. Next inhale goes into fingers and toes, a little wiggle. A roll of wrists and ankles. A look right, a look left. Reach fingers, reach toes. Put lots of length in the body. And head on to your right side. Inhale, fill up with all the good you've created. Next inhale brings you up to your easy seated position. Take all the time you need. And I will say, dear yogis, as always, thank you for sharing your practice, and namaste.